Those without power during the storm were at greater risk of succumbing to the cold temperatures. In order to help those who may be in need, Attleboro launched its General Population Safety Shelter for residents of the greater Attleboro area. There, residents would be provided with warm food and a place to sleep. We spoke with public health nurse Jackie O'Brien about the safety shelter.
We were actually asked to activate our volunteers by local emergency management on Friday morning, so we had sent out a request to our volunteers, and we had volunteers that responded to help staff the shelter over at La Salette, which opened at noontime yesterday. We had food that was donated to us by the Hebron Village Outreach Food Pantry and also the Attleboro Area Council of Churches, so we worked closely with the MA to set up the shelter. Well, last night we were at La Salette until about 10:30. This morning we did lose electricity as a portion of Attleboro did last night around 9:15, and the decision was made with the conditions of the road and the parking lot at La Salette in consultation with EMA that we were going to stay there for the night. We had one resident that was at the shelter in addition to the volunteers, police and fire, so we stayed over there last night. At that point they had not had electric, so the decision was made to move the shelter over here to Attleboro High School. This is a regional shelter for the greater Attleboro region, and it's mostly for individuals who may still be without power. The last numbers that I had heard for Attleboro, there were about 3,500 people, and there were still several hundred in Norton. I don't know about other communities. So, as people are calling into the dispatch, they're being advised if they are without electric that they can come here to the shelter where we would have some place for them to sleep, some warm food, and some good company. If people are medically fragile, we would not be able to accept them. This isn't a special needs shelter. This is a general, what we'd consider a general population shelter. When we were transferred this morning over to from La Salette here to Attleboro High School, the main roads were in really good condition at that point. We were brought over by public safety to the high school, and we were able to get over here pretty easily in several trips. So basically, we have we just have some general rules. We need to keep everybody safe. Safety is always number one, no matter what. So they're just some general guidelines that we, are asking people to adhere to keep the shelter running peacefully. There's no smoking inside the shelter. We would have to ask, we have to ask them to step outside to do that. Obviously, no weapons, no illegal drugs, no alcohol, and again, asking people to be responsible for their own belongings, and also just being respectful of each other. This actually has been designated, if people do have animals, they are going to be allowed to bring them to the shelter, but they have to have small crates for them and their food and the supplies that they would need for their animals. EMA would be the one that would make that determination when we would be closing down the shelter. Again, because this is listed as a regional shelter with mass emergency management, they would probably make sure that everybody's back up on power, and there was not a need for the shelter in Attleboro or surrounding communities.